Let's have a look at different files in Google Drive and how we handle files in Google Drive. I've got a few files here. These first three are native Google applications, and then I've got here a PowerPoint file, a Word file. Further down here I've got an Excel spreadsheet, and I can have pretty much any kind of file type thrown in here if I want to. It is a storage space. But it does have these native applications, and they're really useful applications to play with, and that's what we're going to concentrate a lot on in these plays around with the Google Apps suite. So up here I have a button called New, and when I click on that, it lets me create new files or upload them. So I can create a new folder and get a bit more structure to what I'm seeing here, or I can create a new document. Google Docs is Google's kind of version of Microsoft Word. Google Sheets is their version of Excel. Google Slides is their version of PowerPoint. And there's all these other things as well that we can create within Google's suite of apps. I'm going to create a Google Doc. So when I click on that, it creates it in my drive because that's where I was. I was in my drive. If I'm in a particular folder, then it will create it in that folder, and it will gain certain rights associated with that folder, but we'll worry about that in a moment. So here I am in a Google Doc, and the most important thing is to give it a really good name so that it can be found by anybody who has access to this document. So let's give it a really good name. There we go. And then we can start typing some stuff in here and having a good time. Up here in the top corner there's a big blue share button, and that's going to allow us to share this document with other people. But we can also do that from within Google Drive. Here is our document that we're playing with, and if I right click on it here I get loads of options, one of which is share, or up here there's a share button as well. So when I click on share, it brings up these share controls. At the moment, the only person who has access to this document is this person here, which is me on this generic account. I am the owner of this file. Nobody else can see this file. It's restricted, and only the people added above can see this file. So, how can I change that? How can I allow other people to see it? Well, I can add people in this box. So let's add my personal account to this, and I can give the other collaborators to this document different access rights. So by default here I'm adding this person as an editor, which means that they have pretty much full controls over this document in terms of being able to edit it and make changes to it. Or I could give them comment access, so where they could suggest changes and add little comment bubbles to the document, but they're not actually changing the core fabric of the document. Or if I just want people to be able to see the document but not be able to make any sort of changes to it at all, I can give them view access. And view access simply means that they can view it. They can't do much more than that. Now, they can do certain things with that. Up here on this cog, there are some fine-tuning options. So viewers and commenters by default can download, print and copy a document, but you might want to restrict that. And that will restrict that as far as you can restrict anything like that over the web. And then the other option that we have here is to allow editors to change permissions and to further share your document. So if you're worried about your document getting a bit too far out of your own hands, you might want to stop editors from sharing it. But by default, that is a privilege that is awarded to them when you do share a document with them. Now, in order to make myself aware of the fact that I've shared this document with me, I might want to add a little message here saying, hey, look, here's that cool document. But I don't have to do that. I could untick that little box there and not send that message out. I will do. I will send that just to give myself some spam. So the other option that we had in there was this stuff at the bottom, this get link box. And at the moment, this get link thing is saying that it's restricted and only the people in my list up here can have access to this document. But I can change that. I can change it so that anybody at the University of York can have access to this document, be that as a viewer or as a commenter or as an editor. And I could further tweak those settings so that if I tick this box here, people can actually search for this in Google Drive and be able to find this document in Google Drive. Now it depends what this document is as to how widely available I want to make it. But another option I've got here is to make it visible to anybody at all with the link. So anybody out there on the internet who could have access to this document. And the options I've got here are, again, viewer, commenter or editor. So I could make my document here editable by anybody in the entire world who can find it. Now you may think that's probably not a very good idea, but that's basically how Wikipedia works. Wikipedia is an online document that anyone can edit. I'm not suggesting we build our own Wikipedia, but there are uses for all of these settings. Certainly with our online materials, we tend to have them viewable by anybody with the link so that anybody can have access to them. Indeed, this video you're watching now it's a YouTube video, but it's following that same principle that anybody with the link can see it. So those are the sharing options that are available to me, and clicking on done like I just did there has made that document so broadly shared that even you, if you wanted to, could go and dig that document out and take a look.